Hello and welcome to Overshadow's ShadowCast with your host Thomas Anderson and tech wizard Abigail Moat.
Hello, folks.
Many folks. So we'll get straight into it. What have I been playing?
What have you been playing?
Well, we'll start with your eye, not my eye. So what have you been playing?
My eye have been playing just Galaxy Wars.
Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
Darn it!
Yeah. Just slot in the right answer there for you because I knew straight away you got it wrong.
I thought I had gotten it right.
You even abandoned remembering that it was Star Wars. It focused entirely on the other part of the name and then made something up. Galaxy Wars. Right.
So I am now on level 42.
And that's not level as in mission, but level as in player character level.
Yes, it is.
Right.
Has that not been clear for the last 3 weeks when I've been talking about it?
2 weeks, and yes, it has been. I'm just clarifying. Because we might have some new listeners. Like some of my aunties and cousins might decide to listen now. So let's keep everybody up to date. Yeah, it's player level, and the player level then unlocks things.
Yes, so I've now unlocked
Galaxy War.
Galaxy War.
See, that's where you got it from.
That's where I got it from. So, from what I gather, it's you're again playing little missions.
Fights, I would say, would be the better way of describing it. There's not many objectives, but kill everybody.
I went from tasks, week 1.
Yeah.
I kept calling things tasks.
Yeah.
And no, it's a mission.
Yeah.
You can't just let me have it, can you? You always have to
No, if
intervene.
I'm sorry, if you're wrong, this is journalism, apparently. We have to tell you that you're wrong. It's fights, they're fights. That's why it's called Galaxy War.
Then it would be a battle, not a fight.
Then it's a battle. That's fine. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. But there's a marked difference between a task and a battle or a fight.
Anywho, so you're on basically what it looks like a massive table. And you're fighting in little battles, and any damage you take from the first battle is carried over to the next battle.
It's what's the
Any damage your health takes.
persistent. It's persistent. Whatever you do in a previous battle, they all link up. So any cooldown timer you still have in effect, or any damage you take to your health, that's still there when you start the next one. Yeah.
That's just what I said.
Yeah.
Which means that you have to really think about how you're going to use your characters and who you're playing with.
Yeah.
At the moment, I like using Talia and the Jedi. The first Jedi, I can't remember. The
Contour, because they heal up.
Because each one sort of...
Yeah.
Even though Talia takes 10% damage or whatever it is every time she heals everybody up.
She regains health during an attack.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. But you have to be quite clever. And I got really far the first time I did it.
Uh-huh.
And each time I've not gotten as far.
Yeah, because what happens is the enemies are actual players' squads.
Right, I didn't know that.
And as you level up, they get harder to fight.
Ah, okay. So, yeah, I've probably got it. The furthest I've gotten now is about halfway through all of the battles. And I'm getting the shards for the character you suggested I get. Because of it.
Oh, Garazeb Aurelius.
Yes.
Aye, because he's part of Phoenix Squadron. He comes up in a rebel, so that's a lot of events covered.
But what I was doing is I was sort of saving up all the little green gems you get.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a real word for that, or is that what they're called?
We will call them...
Green gems.
Or you could go with emeralds, but yeah, whatever.
Same thing.
The green money.
No, that's actual. There is actual money that's green in that game.
Really?
It looks like little dollars or like little notes.
No, that's not money. That's Sims. Sim tickets. You hand one of them over to sim a fight rather than do it.
It looks like money.
It's not money.
It looks like money.
Yeah, but it's not money.
It looks like money.
But it's not money, so that's the green money and not sim tickets.
So the green jewels I was saving them up,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought I'd just like buy all the shards at one point, and then realised no, I think you can only buy them at certain points. You can only buy.
They reset every, was it 6 to 12 hours?
Yeah, I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
So now I'm just waiting to buy
Yeah.
more and more.
Well, that will happen with if you target certain characters or ships. Then as you unlock the different shops, you'll find that you just don't want to buy what's there just because it's there. You'll wait until the ship you want or the character you want is available.
Yeah.
And then you'll have a wee stockpile because you're waiting for the right one to come.
I was able to
across.
promote one of my characters though. I was able to get wasn't a stormtrooper, was it a snowtrooper?
Snowtrooper.
Yeah.
Like
was
the
able to-
most useless character I think you've
I know,
got.
but I was able to promote him.
Woo!
So I was able to get an achievement.
Oh, which will then help you level up some more.
Yes, it will.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be so snarky about it.
Oh, sorry. I'll just holster that snarkiness. So can we have a...
No, can we just go back to the fact that you decided to point your hand in the form of a gun and actually just try and pretend to holster something?
Yeah, I just put it in my pocket, actually, if I'm being honest. There's a pocket down there. I have pockets. I can keep
A
my guns in
completely
pockets.
useless thing to do when this is an audio podcast.
There is another person in the room, Abigail. You. I'm not going to pretend you're not here.
So it's just for my benefit, is it?
Of course. This is primarily a conversation between us that some potentially strange people might be listening in on.
The fact that it's mainly your friends and family that are listening to this, that is a comment on them.
Exactly.
That's not nice.
Have you met my brother?
Yes, I have. Still not nice to say.
He's just... Oh no. I mean, he makes a spanner look intelligent. No, he's nice. But I wanted to try and bring it back if you could. You said something about a table now.
It looks like a big board that you're playing on.
Like a holographic
Yeah.
table, like the...
Like they do in actual Star Wars.
Aye. And...
Just not like, what was it? Their version of chess or whatever
it's
that
not
was.
the hologram, the holographic chess thing,
No.
but that does appear, that table. It uses all the sort of imagery you would expect. But it's a pathway laid out, a trailing pathway on the table.
Yes, yeah, and then you've got little crates in between each sort of
Yeah.
battle, yeah, which you need to unlock.
So you win the fight and it unlocks the next crate.
Yeah, and
which
then you
has-
have like the little green gems / money.
Yeah, and you've got leveling up
yeah,
stuff
you've
and
got loads of
gears and
different
stuff
things,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah. And you fight your way to the top, and you can do that once every day, and you can reset it, or you can
Which
leave
is
it,
yeah.
and you can keep trying.
What?
You don't have to reset it every day. You could keep trying.
Yeah, but unless you run out of characters.
Yeah, because it's permadeath, so one of your characters die. I mean, you can actually back out of a fight, and you won't lose anybody.
Yeah, but
If
still...
you've still got to do the fight, and they also reset their health. But as you fight, if you do lose a character and win the fight anyway, then that character's not available for the rest of the Galaxy War.
Yeah.
But if you got all your characters through to the end battle, you'd be able to use your entire full set of characters just to defeat the last fight.
Yeah, but I've not been able to do that.
Yeah, well, even I can't, because while my crew can somewhat hold a candle to some of the sets of bad guys, they're not really capable of fighting some of the better teams, you know, the teams which deliberately function as a unit, like the Phoenix Squadron.
Yeah.
So I just don't have enough strong characters to throw into the fight. Because in all honesty, half my characters are like level 1, because you just don't get enough credits to level everybody up. But theoretically, if you had several different squads, you could just focus on taking one character out for that last battle, because that's always the hardest. It's always, at my point, it's always level 85s, and they're either ridiculously powerful Sith characters or they're Phoenix Squadron. So you can focus on taking one character out with each squad you use.
Yes.
But even I'm not able to do that yet.
Mm.
But that's where the benefit is from unlocking all the different characters. You can see what they can do and pick your best unit.
Yeah. So that does answer my question as to why it was getting more difficult.
Because it tries to tailor it to you. There is a limit. They introduced a limit a couple of months back. It won't just keep getting harder. They have capped it.
Well, that's good.
I think that's why you got so far. But also, if you do get a ridiculously powerful team, then you just are able to win. They don't keep throwing... They've limited how difficult it can get, I think.
Okay.
To stop it from... It's so that if you do go to the trouble of making a really great team, fair enough, you win. You know, if you've got a really great team, you won't fight 20 battles against 85 level 7-star characters, you know?
Yeah.
So it limits how difficult it can be at each stage.
That's good.
Do you know what your next unlock is?
I can't remember. It told me and I've forgotten.
Because it's the guild stuff is what, level 60s?
Yeah. I think level 65.
What about fleet?
I don't know.
I'm sure there's something that unlocks at level 50.
I'll find out.
You'll find out.
I will find out.
You will find out.
I will find out.
So, any other insights into this particular?
That's about it for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
Yes! Yes! I think you just got confused by Galaxy War there.
I did. I have been playing I did try to play another mobile game.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about it quickly. I've seen trailers for it on, YouTube adverts and Facebook. It's called Royal Chaos, and it looked like a really good, I don't know, just a basic level up kind of game. I played it for all of 10 minutes. Had no idea what was going on. I kept leveling up, but don't know really what the storyline. It takes place in China. I think during, I don't know, the medieval time or something like that.
I'm not sure they actually have a medieval time, to be honest.
Well, it's in the past in the past.
In the time of Empire.
Yes. And I think you're playing someone who's trying to be a consort to the Emperor or whatever.
Was it Royal Chaos?
Royal Chaos. Royal Chaos.
Typed in Royale, is it? Can you please
like
stop
royal,
doing
like
that?
royal family.
Yeah.
And it makes no sense. I couldn't figure it out at all. So I deleted it from my... Well, first of all, I tried to upload it onto my phone, and the tapping wasn't working. You know, when you try and tap to select something, the configuration was not there. So you tap one place and it says you've tapped on the other side of the screen.
Right, okay.
It wasn't until I actually downloaded onto my tablet that it was working properly. But the storyline was so confusing. The fact there wasn't really much of a storyline, I had no idea what was going on. I just no. It was like somebody throwing a lot of stuff at me all at once. I didn't like it, so I deleted it.
Okay.
And apparently you can't get further than level 85 without spending a lot of real money. That's what a lot of people are commenting on the game.
Right, I'm having a wee quick look at it here. It has a sort of art style like some of the earlier Final Fantasies, but it seems to be the same sort of thing. You've got squads who do fights, but for some reason they have magical abilities. Anyway, yeah, I don't know if I would play that personally.
It just looked interesting because any advert I saw for it seemed to be heavily story driven, and the story driven look quite interesting, but when you actually go to play it, it's not that heavily story driven, and it's very confusing.
Yeah, they do that. I don't think that should be allowed. If you don't have a story mode, you should not be able to advertise it like it has a story.
No, there's another game. There's another game I played called Episodes, and that looked like it was heavily story driven, but it was rubbish. Because you could only play about 3 chapters a day, and that was it. There's
a Final Fantasy game that is it has a story. I might recommend that to you. What else is there? There's something of a storyline in an Elder Scrolls game, a card game that I play.
Yeah.
Right, but that's about. I uninstalled a couple of DC games, which is odd because of how much I like DC, but there was just nothing to them. You were just going battle, battle, battle. Why am I doing this?
I like something with a story.
Yeah, I like something with a purpose.
The Star Wars game is alright because it's just a little bit of fun, you know. It's It's a time waster, really, more than anything else. But when it comes to proper games, I like a story.
Right. Is that why you've not gone back to your one-armed friend?
Yes.
Because there's no story if you're just failing the mission over and over again.
I've not switched on this week.
Just need a bit more time.
I can't face it again.
You need a bit more time. Okay.
What have you been playing this week?
Well, I was playing the last couple of days of the free weekend of Rainbow Six Siege, and I did get all the situations finished with 3 stars, which is quite fun. I'm not entirely sure why I struggled with it in the first place, because most of the missions I didn't have 3 stars on, because I got straight away first time I tried them again.
Yeah.
3 stars, it's basically not for how well you do in a score base, it's for doing certain objectives. So it's like get the mission done in under 2 minutes, or get so many headshots, or blow up somebody with a frag grenade, that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to do them in one playthrough. In fact, you don't even have to do them on a successful playthrough.
Right.
So I threw a couple of grenades to blow some people up, and then I think I failed that, or I failed it. I got blown up myself, but still got that objective.
How can you get an objective if you've been blown
Because
up?
it's just for doing it. It's not because it's supposed to. See, this is the thing is, I think it's because in the lore of it, these are supposed to be training exercises.
Right.
So you still got the 2 frag grenade kills. And the unlock for finishing it is the next situation. So you could technically get 3 stars, but if you don't complete the situation, then you don't get the next one. So I think that's the argument. And I think it's reasonable, because they're pretty difficult. I think they'd be near impossible to do on a successful mission, doing all 3 to get the 3 stars.
Okay.
Although I did do a couple by mistake while trying to get the last star or 2, but I think it would be a bit harsh.
Right.
Because it's on normal. I'm not even playing it on the harder 2. It's normal, I think. I don't know what the hard is called, but that's the middle one. And then there's realistic. So if I'm struggling on what I've got, I wouldn't have a chance.
How can you have a setting that's called realistic?
I think if you take a bullet, you die.
I suppose.
It would be very difficult, I think, to get all of them. But it's fun to get them the way that it sets it up. Because it's a very difficult game, and I think it would just be really being a bit tedious if it didn't give you something.
Yeah.
Because you get points which go to leveling up, and those points that you get to level up unlock things that you can buy with the points you get. So you can buy other characters that you can use. Not in the situations. Situations are defined. There's 10 situations and they give you the character for that, but when you're playing the rest of the game, you can pick your own, so you can unlock the bonus characters they've added over the different years, and you can buy them. You don't have to buy them with real money, you can use the game's currency.
That's good, because I absolutely think it's a complete cheat when they say, right, you need to use your own money to unlock things or buy certain things.
I understand people saying, right, I'll buy that character. Fair enough. I can see people saying, I'll buy all the characters. Fair enough. I've been playing the game for 1.5 years, so I've got loads of spare currency. Okay, just buy them with the in-game currency then.
Yes.
That seems fine to me.
If you want to spend your own money, go for it. But I'm saying, if you had to, I think that's a bit of a cheat.
Yeah, because you'd have all this currency you couldn't do anything with.
Yeah.
I like it. You can also buy weapon skins and stuff like that, so it's... I think they're reasonably asking for some money back, because they're really putting into the actual game itself. And you've got to remember that it's an e-sport now. So they wouldn't, they can add content and not worry too much, because they can then have that content during their e-sport competitions and make money back that way.
Okay.
So they're fine for money on that game. It's doing very well.
Good for them.
But the most fun I've been having was a couple of days ago when me and my friends got together. Friends of the ShadowCast, friends of Overshadow, James Gray, who we've had on as a guest several times, and Samuel Cowan. Who we've not, but will be joining us when he returns to the Chosen Land. we got together, and it was normally what happens. I don't know how deliberate this is. It's something I've noticed, but I'm a bit of a maniac. That it's always James who's in control of what we're doing. Because when you join a fire team, the fire team leader is the one who sets everything up. So he picks what you're doing, and you're essentially just stuck watching him select what's happening. Which is understandable. You can't have a fire team where everybody's doing different things.
No.
You're a fire team because you're in the same fight together.
Yeah.
So you're watching and like, okay. And he said to us, I need to go for 10 minutes, but I'm going to leave it on, so just pick what you want and I'll be back. Whatever it is, I have no idea. And he's got a dog. Maybe he had to take the dog outside.
Anyway.
And, sorry, as a scientist, I'm inherently asking questions. I must know what he was doing.
But scientists ask the right questions.
No, scientists ask all the questions and then get all the answers, do a bit of maths, and then say,
that was pointless.
Oh God, apparently nothing. No, I was sorry, I was just spouting off random things. He was doing whatever, he never told us, he just left. But this is why I'm spouting off random things, because I'm setting up this idea of we don't know where he's gone, what he's doing, or exactly when he'll be back, and he's forgotten he's the fire team leader. So we can't do anything until he gets back. So we're sitting staring at the screens, and I just said to Sam, yep, he's forgotten he's the fire team leader, hasn't he? So, try picking something. He's like, oh no. So I quit out, and then I tried to get Sam to join my fire team.
Right.
But I'm invisible online, because that makes it easier for me and my brother to play GT online because of a quirk in the system. It makes it easier for us to get our own instance. So he couldn't find me. So I had to find him very easily on the friends list, because he was marked as online. Send him an invite to join the fire team, because he was having some sort of breakdown with the fact he couldn't find me. And then I was in charge for the first time ever. Oh, the feeling of power, of control. So I said, right, I'll set up a quick game, and then James can just join us, because he'll be able to see you and he'll join your fire team. Right, okay. So I'll just pick the game type. Okay. I said, oh look, there's loads and loads of options for what you can do with the game type. Sam's like, oh, you should just mess everything up. I was way ahead of him. So what I did was it's custom Fiesta, where you spawn in with random weapons, right?
Yeah.
And you're just with your friends. And I changed two things. You couldn't pick up fallen weapons. So if you had a rubbish weapon when you spawned in, because you spawn in with random weapons, that's what Fiesta means, you can't change it for one of the ones that somebody drops. So you're stuck with your rubbish weapon till you die. It also means if you use up all the ammo, you just have to try and melee attack everybody, which happens several times. But I also changed the boost speed, because you get these wee thrusters on his back, right? On your character's back.
Yeah. So
you press B and you boost to a side, forward, back, left, right. I increased the boost speed to 400%. Literally, what I heard was they were saying, oh, this is rubbish, you can't change the weapons, right? And then it was James that said that, and then 2 seconds later he says, wait, that's pretty good actually, because it means people can't just spam the incinerator or rocket launcher, you have to try and use the weapons you've got. And then Samuel presses the B button when he's in a fight, and he doesn't just boost slightly to the side, he gets thrown across the entire map. And all you hear is, oh my god, and I saw him go, woof, right past me. So we then started boosting around the map, and we were laughing our heads off, because whenever we came up to somebody, you would just be walking, right? Just walking somewhere, because you were walking at normal speed, and then somebody would just boost up to you and sword through your face and then boost away. So within about half a second, you've entered this corridor where you can't see anybody. They've come round the corner, cut through your face and disappeared, because they're going that fast. Because I also turned down the recharge rate for the boost, so only used 10% of your energy, and you recharged it like 400% the speed, or
Yeah.
the maximum. So what you ended up with was you could just hammer the boost button. So within about 3 seconds, you could fly all the way around this map. It was incredible. So then we changed it, and we changed it, and we put it on a bigger map. We did hammers, and we tried it on the smaller map, and we were just flying it because I increased the running speed and the sprint speed and all the rest of it, so we were absolutely flying around this map. But it was Fathom, so it was inside like a building basically, underwater, and we were just going pew, 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 pew. It was ludicrous. We were bouncing around all over the place, and I was laughing so hard I started crying. Like I had tears running down my face. And we then decided, right, let's try this in an open area, see if it's any better. But the open area was too big, because it was still great, but I turned off the gravity for the open area, so you were able to just jump and then look down. But that was because I thought maybe the boost could be used you could maybe orient yourself to look down and then boost down, because it would be forward, but it doesn't let you do that even if the gravity's turned off, so I had to turn it back on. But then we were just flying around all over the place because there was no walls to keep us in.
Yeah.
And I accidentally, it turns out, picked the biggest map. So we were just bouncing around all over the place. I mean, you could literally sometimes struggle to see the opposition, because if they just jumped into the air enough, because the jump was huge, it was like 300% normal jump with 70% gravity, so you were just floating away. And then you would boost. So you would just see these tiny wee wasps or flies just going. Just imagine if somebody had been spectating and looking from a distance, they would have just seen 3 wee zips going vroom, 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 all over the map, because the thruster leaves a trail. But it was a wee bit big. So what I did, I mean, we were crying our heads off. We tried all the different things. So the game types are all made, right? But I'm going to build some maps now to make some of them work a bit better.
All right.
So I went through all the Forge maps to see what there was, and I found several where it's just basically a metal plate and then a surrounding landscape. So what I think I'm going to do is build in some windows into a big cube. Okay. And that way we can look at the beautiful landscapes, but we are stuck inside this small cube. It's not tiny, but it's big enough that you can't just bounce away into the nether regions of the universe. You have to actually fight. And because Hills isn't listening, what we're going to do is that the next time we play, we're going to have specific spawn points, I've decided. So there'll be a big cube, but with tubes leading into the middle, 4 tubes for the 4 players, right? Yeah. And what we'll do is have spawn points for each team behind one-way gates, so that nobody can attack you when you're spawning. And what you do is spawn into the map by boosting through the tube, so you'll come flying into the... And so what I'm going to do, though, to trick him, is that they're going to be team colour specific. So I'm going to have a little glass cage at the bottom of the cube, so that we can all look, and I'm going to tell Hills that he has to go like yellow or something, and he spawns in the glass cage that he can't get out of, and he's just looking at everybody, and they're all just looking in at him, because he will never see that coming.
You've got a thing against this guy, don't you? It sounds like it.
Well, I think it's just
friendly.
It's friendly banter, but it's the fact that if he was listening, it wouldn't be a surprise. Right.
So this is a lesson to him.
So
listen from in the future.
You should listen, so you don't get surprised. But we'll play that hopefully a couple of days before this goes up, so I'll be able to put some footage.
That'd be good.
To it, yeah. I've still got to make the maps, but I've got, as I said, I've got a day or so to make the maps, and then we can try that. And it'll just be the same map for each of the game types in each of the places, just the same glass cube.
Yeah.
Because it's absolutely amazing, like tidal, parallax, all that sort of stuff, barren. It's amazing. There's one on a glacier, there's one under the sea, the bottom of the seabed, there's one on the seabed which is dried up, there's one on top of the sea, there's one on a field or / beach, right, depending on where you put the cube. And there's one in space.
Right.
you're just running around in space on this big metal plate. So I'm really looking forward to, because it will look fantastic. But I could also use those same places to make like race car ones.
All right.
Yeah, or I was going to use it to build a tower map as well. Because there's one of the game types, you've got like almost unlimited boost and a huge jump, so it'd be very difficult to knock that person off the world. So it would sort of eventually be a wee bit like, not as bad as, but a wee bit like Super Smash Bros. Or something like that.
Yeah.
Because they'd be able to jump back or boost back. But if I built a tower for the game type which doesn't have boost, which I turned the boost off to make it more like the previous golf clubs game that I set up.
Yeah.
Golf clubs are like a gravity hammer, so you smash down on them and it acts like a big gravity hammer and they go poof. So if you get knocked off the world, you die because there's no boost, there's no way to jump back. So I might put a tower in some of these instead of a big glass cube.
Yeah.
So that they get knocked off, they die. But I've figured out finally how to use the forge, which wasn't anywhere near as intuitive as it was in Halo Reach. But I've figured it out, so maybe I can actually start making these maps and do some stuff. But my idea was that, unlike Tidal, if you fall into the water, you die. So I could build this big convoluted racetrack over the water, and then people drop down and die if they fall off. Because there's actually, I think in previous games, you sort of just built a racetrack and had to trust that everybody did it properly. But in this one, you actually can put checkpoints in. So if somebody drives through a checkpoint, they get a point. And then what you do is you give them the number of points that equals a certain number of laps. And if they die, they just respawn almost where they fell off, but they're not moving. So the penalty is they've got to re-accelerate. So it could be kind of fun. So I'm looking forward to it.
Sounds very complicated.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. There'll be some footage up for whatever it is we manage to do. But I'm
Hopefully.
really looking forward to it. Hopefully, yeah, hopefully. If not, I'll just show off the maps and the footage and then people can see it that way. But I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to seeing it as well. You guys just blasting about the place.
It's just, I was laughing so hard, it was tears rolling down my face. It was absolutely incredible. It was so much fun. They should let me pick game types more often. There was one point where it sort of summed up for me. James blew himself up again because we did it with rockets, right?
Yeah.
And he blew himself up by shooting the wall in front of him by mistake because he was zipping around all over the place. He couldn't keep track of what he was doing. And he went, "Oh, I've done it again." And he was pretty disappointed. "Oh, I've done it again." He's blown himself up. And about 2 seconds later, he just burst out laughing, like genuine laughter. And it was that sort of juxtaposition of finding something so annoying so funny. So I think I really think they should let me make games more often. I also made a ninja one, a hide and seek one, where you spawn in, right? And everybody has a weapon with no ammo, with the exception of the person who spawns in, who's the seeker or the tigger, and they spawn into currently it's just a normal spawn, but I'm going to do it so that they spawn in
Right.
to an area that only they can get to with an unlimited sword. Nobody else can do any damage because I can turn off melee, which is the only way that they can damage at the minute. I've turned off ground pound, Spartan charge, all the rest of it, and there's no ammo in the gun, so the only way they can kill is melee attacking.
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn the damage down to, it's down at 10%, but I might just turn it off completely. And I'm going to see what it looks like. What the person who's the tigger will do is they'll spawn into a little box with a sword, the only weapon that works. Because all the weapons will turn back on, but there'll be no ammo for the pistols that the other people who are hiding have, so they can't kill the seeker. So the guy who's finding all the people spawns in, grabs the sword, leaves the one-way room, and then has to go and find people. Every kill is a successful TIG, so it comes up as a point. That's how you measure the score.
Yeah.
And then the people who, if you die with the sword and you don't spawn back in the room, your turn's over. So take it in rounds to see who gets the highest score per round.
Interesting.
Yeah. Also, I turned on 400% knockback on melee, but I only did that after we stopped playing. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when the people I'm playing with bash each other and then fly apart. But also, I've been a wee bit unfair on hills because there's a couple of days before this goes up. So the chances are we'll actually play before this goes up, so nobody will have listened to it. But it's still hills. So. I'm really, really, really excited about making more game types, and hopefully the guys had so much fun that they can keep letting me try these, because it's something I've been wanting to do for quite a while, and I sort of did it there out of necessity.
Yeah.
Because James just happened to not be the party leader, and I think hopefully they'll stick with it. But now we have to move to less me-focused things and move to the news.
Say that again, please.
Because it didn't pick up properly, or you didn't understand it?
No, I just want to hear you say that again.
I want to now move from me-focused things.
Bless you.
See, my body's reacting violently to not talking about myself. Me, precious. Dummy.
When did Gollum become a cat?
I can just make that noise. It's all about me. It's not about Gollum. It's about me. And we're going to move to the not me, the news. Are you ready?
I am. I'm waiting for you to talk.
Okay, as always. Brace yourself. Now, do you remember we spoke about a game with Brian?
We spoke about many games with
my
Brian.
little brother, called CyberPunk 2077.
Yes, I did.
He's very, very, very excited for it.
Yes.
It's like Red Dead 2. If we ever talk about it, he sort of has to have a chance to come in and speak. Well, he's not here today. And we have possibly bad news about 2077, Cyberpunk.
Oh no, what is the bad news?
Bad news is
What's happened?
it's transphobic.
Why?
Apparently.
How?
Apparently.
Explain.
I think anybody listening is just, from that one word, has found out what side I'm on in this argument. Apparently. Sorry, I like doing that now. What happened was the devs for the game put up some comments on Twitter about how they were going to be at Gamescom and some stuff will be revealed, blah blah blah, and a picture of two guys. And somebody tweeted to them, I want more guys. And the CD Projekt Red's Twitter responded with, did you just assume their gender?
What?
They said their response was, did you just assume their gender?
To someone saying, I want more guys.
Yeah.
As in, I want more information or I want more guys in the game.
Well, that's the part of the story I was going to tell, is that there was no grammar in the I want more, so it was I want more information guys, but it just said I want more guys, because there was no grammar. So I think that put the guy who tweeted from CD Projekt Red in a bit of a funny mood. So there's no grammar, I want more guys. You've also assumed that the two people involved are the two people, or all the people involved are the two people in the picture, which is not necessarily the case. But I think what happened is the guy saw the lack of grammar.
Yeah.
And go put him in a funny mood. Oh, I want more guys, don't we all? Ha ha ha. And he's just wrote a bit of a joke underneath, right?
Okay.
Did you just assume their gender? But this is sort of the point I'm getting at. What was your response? What was your thought when you heard this story that I just outlined there?
Well, first of all, I was confused because I was like, does he want more guys in the... I wasn't entirely clear as to what was...
Right, but that's...
he was trying to say.
I'm talking about the next bit. Your response to the whole story. What did you think when I said that the apparently transphobic comment was, did you just assume their gender? Don't think it through in a transphobic or transex. I'm thinking what was your immediate response?
Oh, I didn't understand it. That's why I needed clarification, because I was like, well, what's he talking about? My thought was I needed a bit more clarification on the story. That's why I asked.
Okay. But did you see, because did you think there was more story coming? Or did you notice, that's the offensive part, or did you think...
Is that the end of it?
That's it. That's the whole Twitter conversation. So you obviously thought more must have been coming.
I thought there was going to be more coming.
No, that's it. That's the transphobic comment.
Well, how is it transphobic?
Apparently there was a transphobic meme in which people were saying, did you just assume my gender? And that was a transphobic meme. I don't understand. I'm just gonna
unless I've actually seen unless I see the tweets, unless I see this meme, I don't understand why it's transphobic. But I would say that's sexist, not transphobic.
How is it sexist?
Do you just assume that as only guys are there working on it?
No, I think that wasn't the comment CD Projekt Red made. I think they just made a stupid wee joke. Like you've said, guys, as in just general. I think guys applies now more and more to just groups of people. It doesn't have to be males.
I've called my groups of friends, which are different genders, guys. Yeah,
exactly. I think it applies to just groups of people. So they've had a wee bit of a joke. Do you know the first thing I thought when I saw that? Stupid dad joke. That's what it sounds like. It's a bad dad joke, isn't it?
This sounds like a bad joke, doesn't that? No,
but that's the first thing that popped into my head.
No, that is taking a mockery out of dad jokes. Dad jokes are far better. Dad jokes are far better and far funnier than that.
You get the point, though, is that it's just a silly wee joke, essentially. You don't have to like it, don't get me wrong, but...
Dad jokes are cracker jokes. Christmas cracker jokes.
Uh-huh.
They're bad, but you laugh.
Okay. I think we're getting drawn slightly to the side. What you're saying is that your first interpretation is that CD Projekt Red might have been the ones who were offended. From the tweet that you saw.
From just looking at the tweet,
mm-hmm.
If no other information,
yep.
I think they are upset.
So personally, I never saw that interpretation. I saw a joke. That's probably our outlook.
I think so, because I'm far more cynical whenever it comes to Twitter.
Right, but you also sounded a bit like you were angry at CyberPunk for having gotten upset. Or at least typing something that looked like they could have got upset.
That's what I am, because I feel like they're just stirring the pot unnecessarily, basically. I'm just so fed up of seeing stupid Twitter wars.
So you're upset that they got upset? Or looked like they got... You would be upset if they actually got upset, or if they just looked like they got upset.
There's too many upsets there. My brain can't...
You're upset either way.
Pretty much.
But how do you feel now that you know that that's not the case, that they're not upset?
Fair enough. Made a joke. It was a stupid joke. It was a bad joke.
But...
life goes on.
It's a joke. Who cares?
Yes.
So what I'm going to read from this whole 5-minute discussion is that you definitely didn't see any transphobic comment from CD Projekt Red.
No, because even if you are going to take something bad from it, it's going to be a sexist joke. How is it a transphobic joke?
So how are you seeing a sexist joke? If you could explain that one, please.
Because guys, from the picture, right? Okay, I get it. If it's replying to the picture, yeah.
I want more guys.
Right, okay, yes, I can.
Two people in it.
Yes, okay, I can see that, yes.
And you see where the joke comes from because of the picture?
Yes.
Right, okay. So
and someone needed to pay more attention in English class as well.
I think that's what put the guy in a bit of a funny mood, so he's had a bit of a joke, personally. So maybe we've had a bit of a realisation there, I think, during that conversation, and I think that...
I don't like Twitter.
That basically is it. So... I think the whole thing is really stupid, but in a sort of way. That's my interpretation.
Yes.
But it's not a great joke. You're not handing them a prize for it. It's just a guy having a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
Because he's on Twitter all day. So I'm going to look up the meme in question, so that you can now see this. Because from what you've seen so far, you do not see anything transphobic.
Yeah.
So, your initial reaction, you knew somebody was upset, so you thought it was because of the did you just assume my gender, and you thought Rockstar, you thought CD Projekt Red were upset. Now that you know that's not the case and it actually goes the other way, do you see anything else? Just before I show you the picture.
No.
Okay. You don't see anything transphobic. I agree. I didn't see anything. I only knew it was transphobic, or knew people thought that, because I saw the tweet in relation to that particular statement.
Yeah.
Right, so here we go. Did you just assume my gender? Is a punchline, this is from online, used to mock the sensitivity of feminists, social justice warriors, and discussions going on in the LGBTQ community, particularly trans people. There's a picture here.
Do you want to explain as to what the meme, what we're looking at is?
It's a police officer who's pulled a car over and says, "Madam, can you please step out the car?" And the woman leans out the window and says, "Did you just assume my gender?"
Yeah.
Now, this is supposed to be a transphobic meme. And so therefore, the first question is, do you think CD Projekt Red deliberately said did that to offend people?
No.
Why?
Because they meant it as a joke.
So they weren't trying to upset anybody, is what you're saying. Right. So the point is that a lot of people got very, very upset about this, saying it was transphobic, and they're going to boycott the game because of it. Even some of the games journalists that I have quite a bit of respect for have come out saying that this was disgusting. But I don't agree. I don't agree at all. I think that there's several things you have to keep in mind. One, did you just assume their gender is a sentence that has meaning? I think they've just used a sentence as a sentence, that's it. I genuinely think that's it. You can't wall off a sentence just because it has a bad meaning. If it has another one, they have to be able to use it. There's also a good point that was made by some other people, which was CD Projekt Red are a Polish company. There's a half-decent chance the person in charge of that is speaking English as a second language. They might not know what they've done. Thirdly, I didn't know what they'd done. I speak English as a first language, apparently. I don't agree either, but the point is that according to all the rules and regs, I do. I didn't know that. I'd never heard of that meme before at all.
I had never heard of it.
Nobody I know has heard of it. So you're assuming that a particular person had a particular piece of information just because you have it, and that's why you've got upset.
The world is full of people that will take offense at just about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything and anything.
Mm-hmm.
These are the people who are most vocal on Twitter.
I don't mind if you get upset and say, I found that a wee bit upsetting, actually. That's fine. Obviously, you're entitled to say whatever you want. You can get outraged. But I'm just saying, if you said that, I'd understand that. Because there were many, many, many people who said, I'm sorry, I don't understand why this is offensive. I don't understand. On Twitter and Reddit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I know I'm right. Instead of somebody coming back to those people and saying, this is why, they were immediately banned or blocked. So all you've done is very respectfully disagree and say, I'm sorry, I don't understand why this is offensive. And you get blocked.
That's not on. You should always be able to have a conversation.
But that's the point. If you don't have a counter argument to I'm sorry, I don't understand. One, that means you're wrong. Or you are not the person to be talking about it. Go and find somebody who can explain to them. And two, if you're a social justice warrior, you're trying to convince people that you're right. You're trying to teach them. If you just block everybody who disagrees with you, how are you teaching them anything?
You're not.
Exactly. So you're not a social justice warrior, you're just a warrior.
It's like when people just like yell at you for no reason.
Yeah.
They just constantly yell their point over at you again and again and again.
That doesn't help anyone. There's something I was speaking to my friend about this, and I came to quite a stark realisation during the conversation. It was something I said just off the top of my head, but I think it's really, really good. I took my own trumpet. Boop, boop. See if you are that sort of person that blocks everybody who disagrees with you. No matter how forward-thinking and advanced you are, no matter how smart you are, how knowledgeable, if you wall yourself off, if you put yourself and the people who agree with you in a bubble, no matter how forward-thinking and free and fair you are, you will always inevitably become ignorant because you don't know what's happening outside your bubble. The people who are blocking everyone for disagreeing that this is transphobic are the most ignorant people because they're cutting off everybody who disagrees with them. Because they're cutting off everybody around them who disagrees with them. That means they don't learn of the world that they don't want to see. So they inherently, by logic, become the most ignorant of people. If you wall off anybody from yourself, you become ignorant over time. It's guaranteed.
I completely understand. I'll tell you about something that you should watch later because I don't want to broadcast this group. But I'll tell you about somebody later who pretty much has the exact same mentality as that, and it's very fascinating to watch it. So.
As me? Or as...
No, like two different types of people, almost. Somebody who came from a group with the mentality of blocking everybody out to becoming somebody who's actually going to have a conversation with somebody.
Alright. Okay.
So I'll tell you about that later, but I don't want to broadcast that group.
Well... One last thing I was going to say about it was, I don't know about you, right? But I went to school and...
I also went to school, even though it doesn't seem like it, I did.
Okay. We're on par. But I went to school and, you know, there are certain things about me that leave you open to being prejudiced and all the rest of it, right? Because there are certain things about everybody. And this is what's interesting, and this is something that I really think people have to understand, is especially in Scottish culture, this is especially true here. See the people who hate you and use things against you say the exact same thing as the people who love you the most.
Oh, I've never experienced that.
Oh, you don't have enough friends then. But the point is, well, you know how I call you silly or whatever, I'll make fun of you in a really nice way.
Yeah, but I've never had somebody who genuinely means some harm to me.
That's the point, though. It's the same thing. You're an idiot. Oh, you're an idiot. It's the same phrase, but it's meant differently.
Yeah.
So that's the point, is that I think a lot of the problem that we have with social inclusivity, social invisibility, social inclusivity.
See, I don't bring up the fact that you say things wrong, but you do that to me every week without fail.
I know, but this is what I'm trying to teach you. You just haven't learned the lesson yet. Social inclusivity is that a lot of the problem is anxiety. One of the worst things about meeting new people and new groups of people is you're so worried you're going to say something silly. Like my whole life, I've been worried about meeting black people in case I accidentally say something I shouldn't say. I immediately assumed as a child that because I was white, I was racist until I proved I wasn't. That's stupid. But that's what society breeds in people. You have to prove you're not prejudiced. So you get really worked up about it. And then what happens? You say something stupid. It's a simple, if you're saying to your head,
don't say it, don't say it.
First thing you do is say it.
Yep.
So that pressure really holds people back, and it just, right, I'm not risking it. And then what happens is somebody does try, says something like this, which is just taken out of context by mistake, didn't even realise what they were saying, and gets ripped to shreds right before your eyes. Anybody who's even remotely likely to say anything is just shut back down. They're just, I'm hiding. That man just got eviscerated in front of me. I'm not saying anything. That's a problem. One of the things about Scottish culture, not necessarily unique to it, but it's definitely here, is that you insult each other when you're friends. It's, stop people getting too big a head, being too full of themselves, all that sort of, being too big a head, having too big a head, being too full of themselves, right?
We don't want those big heads for all the time.
Exactly.
On their little legs and their little arms. Just waddling about.
Around. They just roll on the head and their body just flops around at the side. Like a detached wheel from a car.
Does keep those big hat businesses going though.
Comedy hats, like a 10-gallon hat.
With giant glasses.
10-gallon hat is like a bodysuit. They wear it the other way around and just hop around.
That's where the giant sunglasses come from. Festivals. It's just the big heads. They don't have so many anymore. There's a surplus of them, so they needed a reason to have them. Festivals. The big. Giant
I think there are
sunglasses.
more people with big heads. I think that's why festivals are more popular. But I think that what happens is that it's just a camaraderie, but it breaks down that barrier of awkwardness. How is this person going to respond if I do say something possibly offensive? Are they going to get upset, or are they going to see the funny side?
Yeah.
And when they see the funny side, what happens? You calm down. You feel much more comfortable, much less afraid, much less anxious, and you can get on with the conversation and have fun.
Mm-hmm.
When you jump down somebody's throat for that, you're making the world a worse place, because it just stops people talking. Just look at the way people are reacting to everything. Just look at it. The overreaction to everything that's said. Of course somebody's going to get offended no matter what you say. Of course someone's going to get upset every time you make a joke. But you know what? Who cares? That person got upset. They should just get on with their day. They should just move on. What is it that people now think they have a right to be safeguarded from offence? No, you don't. You have no right to not be offended at all.
Have you seen the thing on Facebook? It's a picture, and it's like generations of young teenagers,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like 1800s up chimneys, down mines, 1900s fighting in the war, and the 2000s. I'm offended.
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah.
A good example, right, is when you read that, you didn't see what I saw, right?
Yeah.
It made the conversation really difficult, because I was trying to have a conversation about the actual event, and you were still trying to work out how that happened at all, because you had seen something completely different. So it got frustrating. It got a bit annoying, and we were trying to figure out how to bring it back. I'm not genuinely offended, though, that you saw something I didn't.
And I will say, it seemed like you did.
No, I'm not offended that you saw something that I didn't. I was just annoyed at myself for not seeing it.
Again, interpretation-wise, it felt like you were really annoyed at me.
I was not. I was annoyed at myself. But the point I'm making is, I genuinely wasn't annoyed. I wasn't offended. I was just annoyed at myself for not knowing what to do now that that thing had come up that I didn't know. But we've talked it through, and we've worked out where we are, and we found out what we were thinking. So it was difficult, but I think we're better for doing it. So why is everybody banning everybody that says something they don't immediately agree with and thinking they're doing good? You don't make the world a better place unless your theory ends with you killing everyone that disagrees with you. Because you can't make the world a better place unless you kill them or convince them.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. You shouldn't block people. The only times I ever agree with blocking people completely is if they're just throwing hate speech at you.
I understand that. But when somebody turns around and says, I'm sorry, I don't understand, why are you banning that person? I'm talking about what they did. People were turning around saying, I don't understand how this is transphobic, and they were getting banned. I don't agree with that.
Right.
I was sort of an opening for you to tell me what you think.
I for a very long time I didn't understand how it was transphobic, and you had to explain it to me as to why it might be because of the picture.
Aye, and I didn't ban you. I didn't block you. I explained it.
Just put a giant piece of cardboard between the two of us.
Exactly. It just says you've been blocked for 3 days for denying transphobia.
Yeah.
But you see the point. It helped to have the conversation. It didn't help to ban them. And do you know what happened that I think rounds the whole thing off?
Yeah.
I'll ask, what's your opinion on this so far?
It's taken too long to talk about. My real opinion is people are making a fuss over nothing.
I would explain why it's taken too long to talk about. Okay, fuss over nothing, right? According to transgender journalist Sophia Narwitz, she disagreed that it was transphobic, that it was just a stupid comment, but it was neither based in fear nor hatred, so therefore was not transphobia, because that's the definition of transphobia.
Yes.
She was immediately attacked. She was called dumb. Her articles were twisted, and she was attacked using them, because she's a journalist, and she was eventually banned. See the people who attacked her? Not banned.
That's not on.
But here's the other thing. Somebody outed a name of an employee at CD Projekt Red that they believed might be responsible for having tweeted the original tweet.
Yeah.
They released the person's name and said, this isn't meant for mobilisation. Just thought we should put a name to a face, essentially. I'm paraphrasing, that's roughly what they said.
Yeah.
The mobilisation was a quote. Why are you outing that person's name? Because my suggestion is you did that because you want that person to get fired or attacked.
Yeah, that's what my interpretation would be as well.
So that's like stabbing someone in the face and saying, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stab you in the face. Stab in the face, stab in the face, stab in the face. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stab you in the face several times. Stab in the face. I really don't want to stab you in the face, but you seem to be getting stabbed in the face. It's just...
Every time I bring my knife up.
Reset Era Forums thread was... I think that was where Sophia Narwitz got attacked for having a logical disagreement in an argument. Everyone attacked her. She got banned, and the people who attacked her didn't.
Right.
Just stupid. They eventually took down the outing of the person's name, who might or might not have been responsible, but it took them hours to do it. So they need a wake-up call. It's disgusting the way these people have been acting. The people who are lashing out. It's just... You got upset. Fair enough. You want to talk about it. Fair enough. But you have to understand your feelings are not precious, okay?
Yeah.
They change. Offence is subjective. I remember watching a comedian who was saying, why can't people just call people what they want to be called? PC speech is speech evolution. It's actually forced evolution, not natural evolution, but we can talk about that. But then she started telling jokes about how she nearly defecated herself. There are people who are going to get offended at that. Why is it you're allowed to offend them, but they're not allowed to offend you? I stopped listening. I listened to the whole thing, but I haven't watched anything else she's done because she's too...
Well, it's like when people complain about things like South Park or Family Guy attacking a certain group. They attack every group.
My mum doesn't like some of the stuff that they do, but she'll sit and watch it with us sometimes. She doesn't like some of it. Like the Christopher Reeve stuff, wasn't it? She got a bit upset. She doesn't want them banned. Final verdict?
Oh, you're actually asking my opinion?
Final verdict?
Final verdict? After all of that?
Yep.
It's a joke. Move on. Stop attacking people.
Yeah. It's a joke. You might not like it, but they're allowed to do it. Calm down.
Dad jokes are better.
Dad jokes are better, but it's just a bad joke. I would agree. Calm down. Last piece of news for today. Second piece of news. Last piece of news. Last week, I think it was, we mentioned Battlefield 5's pre-order numbers were very low.
Yes.
We didn't actually mention how low they actually were, and we just mentioned that it was probably a backlash to the gender amputee issue, and also it's coming off the back of the EA loot box for Battlefront 2 debacle.
Yeah.
Now we actually have some details, some figures about how bad it is. When it came to the EA Battlefront 2 loot box debacle, they had originally planned to sell 12 to 13 million copies of Battlefront 2. In the end, they sold 7 million, apparently. Roughly about 7 million.
Right.
They were hoping to sell 12 to 13 million at least. So you're talking about nearly half of the copies that they were planning on selling. And it appears that EA is roughly aiming to sell as many million copies of Battlefield 5. Currently, Battlefield 5 pre-orders are tracking at more than 85% behind those of Call of Duty Black Ops 4. That
is a giant number.
Now, Call of Duty, previously Battlefield 3 and Call of Duty 4 lagged about 20 to 40% behind the relevant Call of Duty games of those years. And Battlefield 1 was actually ahead of Call of Duty that year, the year it was released.
Yeah.
But currently it's heading for what I'm calling a Titanfall 2 event. And that's because it's being released in a crowded window of comparative games like shooters and all that jazz. And it's going to tank because of it. Titanfall 2 originally was planned to sell about that many copies again, 12 to 13, and they sold 5. I think it was near 5. The largest reason seems to be the schedule. Like I said, it's crowded with Red Dead and Call of Duty Black Ops and all that sort of jazz coming out about the same time, Fallout 76.
Yeah.
But there is also the amputee and the women people in the game. And of course that's causing I don't like that, I don't like this, what's going on, all that sort of jazz from people who are making comments, which they're allowed to make. Don't misunderstand what we said about...
Don't misinterpret.
Don't misinterpretize what was said about the CD Projekt Red. You can still get upset, but these people got upset on a historical accuracy realm. Now, I've got a friend of mine who said to me, he doesn't care, it's James Gray. He said, I don't care if there's women in it or not. I really don't care. It's not a selling point or a turn off for me. And all I said was, well, you know how much I like... He likes his single player games as well. You know how much I like historical accuracy in war games. Because I don't like it when wars are misinterpreted, because that's bad for the human race. And so he said he could understand why I wouldn't like it. And that's, let's be honest, it's a perfectly logical argument. If you like historical accuracy, you're not going to like when they've got historical inaccuracies.
Yes, I can completely understand that. No, I can get that from, not even if you like history, even if you're a fan of like a book or something like that, and then they decide to twist and turn that in a different way. So I can sort of understand where you're coming from. Yeah,
everybody has stuff like that, but they don't want something changed. But this is real.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more impactful, and the reason for that is that what women did during World War I and II changed the social structure. Right? Without women in World War I and World War II manning the factories, being the support network,
we would never have won.
Actually, some of them fighting, intelligence officers, we don't win. Just like if the men aren't arming the armaments, if they aren't manning the armaments, then that's it. We don't win either.
I'd like a game where it just focuses on the women's contributions to the war.
I don't even know how you'd make a game about somebody farming. But if you're talking about a bit more interesting, then yes,
I believe there is a very, very popular game, and I cannot for the life of me remember what it's called.
Stardew Valley?
Yes.
Set it during World War II?
Yes.
Yeah, that might work. But you could do something about them being spies, a stealth game, or something about them being...
Yeah, because there were women spies.
Yeah, or even soldiers, like the Russian sniper teams we mentioned last week.
Yeah.
And people are annoyed at that, but they could have been convinced, some of them, right? But it's EA's response is utterly atrocious. EA, female fighters were DLC in Battlefield 1, but these people were based in real history, and it didn't kill the game. As I said, it tracked pre-orders were higher, everybody I know who played it liked it very much. They've got real historically accurate women, and it did well. But because I think that the women being in it and the amputees being in it isn't a problem. Nobody wants no games about women and amputees. The problem is you cannot have them doing things they weren't doing in a historical game. You cannot have them doing in a historically accurate game. You cannot have them doing things they couldn't do. You know? Like nobody's moaning in Deus Ex Human Revolution, oh, that's an amputee. Oh, I don't want amputees in my game. Right, that's 90% of the characters gone. You can make games about amputees or women that work very well. The problem is how you've done it here. That's the problem. And then your response when the people haven't liked it. So here's the quote. Just a plus point. The beta is still to come, so they might be able to salvage their game with a good beta, but probably not. So the problem has been the consumer unfriendly approach. Black Ops 4 is far more consumer unfriendly. But it seems to be that Call of Duty tracks with a younger part-time gaming audience, whereas EA has much more hardcore gamers, slightly older. So when you hit the younger part-time audience, they don't realise they're being attacked, or they don't care. But when you hit an audience that really cares, like has happened here, an older audience that's really invested in their games, they hit back. And that's what happened with the loot boxes, with the anger about EA built up over time, and it seems to have continued. So what happened was that people like Soderlund, he said, and we don't take any flack. This is in response to people getting upset about the women and the amputees. We don't take any flack. We stand up for the cause, because I think those people that don't understand it, well, you have two choices. Either accept it or don't buy the game. I'm fine with either or. It's just not okay. Now, that's a ridiculous tone to take with your customer base. But he also, in that quote, earlier on in that interview, he said that people who didn't like the characters in it that were in it, the fact there were women in it and amputees and all the rest of it, were uneducated.
That's
right, so
not good.
When did he become Trump? Just bandying around that everybody was uneducated and stupid just because they disagree. But he's been there for nearly a couple of decades. He was responsible for the Battlefield 5 ultimatum, and a lot of people are hoping that now that he's left, that will be a change. They'll see a change. We mentioned that last week. We haven't seen any yet, but maybe if he goes, there'll be a change from EA towards actually caring about their customers and not being pure evil.
Yeah.
But it's unacceptable to treat people like that. If they're your customer base, they're just not going to buy your game. And as I said before, people are not angry that people who are ladies are in it or people who are amputees are in it. They're angry that you're rewriting history, because the wars were extremely important in changing society for equality purposes. Yeah. And to rewrite women into battlefield situations they weren't in diminishes what they actually did.
I know, I think we talked about this last week, that I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's like, because if you have women doing all these types of things, it does take away from all the real contributions that they actually did during the war, the amazing things they were able to do. Mm-hmm. They were able, like you said, they were able to break out of the kitchens, and they were able to break out of everywhere, like, well, basically the kitchen.
Yeah. And
they were able to do loads of other things, and that really did help move the women's vote even. Well, for World War One, yeah, that pushed that forward, and then World War Two pushed forward more equality purposes, more freedom. It bled into the. We still got a long way to go, but we're getting there. No, compared to where we've come from, no, we don't. I'm sorry. I don't like the whole sort of like, oh, we've so much work left to do. I don't like saying that we've got so much work to do without just clarifying, I guess, what we've done. No. Coming from where we've come from, we've just got minor fixes, basically, compared to, there's a difference between there being an awful lot of bad treatment of women and that treatment being systemic and socially acceptable. In lots of places in the world, it is still a lot like that. No, I agree. I agree on that front. I'm talking about as a whole gender. As a whole not planet. As a country, as a whole planet. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I'm in a country right now that has a female leader, and I mean Nicola Sturgeon. So, it's different. But as a planet, I'll agree. Most of our parties were led by women to a certain extent for quite a while. The second and third largest parties were led by women, yeah. But no, I agree that as a planet we've got a long way to go, but as a Scottish society, sort of just, it's nowhere near as far as it was before. No. I just don't want to diminish the achievements that people have made, because by saying we've got so much longer to go, so much further to go, it diminishes what people have already done in my eyes. That's why I don't like saying it. Okay. But if you're talking about worldwide, you're right. But we've got so much to do about poverty and all the rest of it as well. Yes, so we've just got a lot of work to do. And then after watching that I recently watched a documentary about recycling on BBC4. So we've got a lot of way to go with that as well. That was just depressing. Yeah. But someone drank a plastic bag. Drank a plastic bag? It's a new type of plastic that they've made that can be dissolved in water. The guy put it in a jug, it dissolved, and then he poured a glass, and then he drank it. It's perfectly safe. Yeah, sure it is. Well, I suppose if it was plastic, they broke it down to its individual... Yeah. I suppose that might work, actually.
As long as there's no polymers left, it would probably be fine. But sorry, just to go back to EA, the actual gaming story, and not fighting the wrongs of the world. What do you think about EA's particular response here about the actual fact that they've done this with women and amputees in the game and their future as a company?
I think that they've made very poor choices in how they're going to incorporate women into their games. Their response is not a right response, saying that people who are getting upset by this are uneducated. That is completely inappropriate to say to your client base. And they have their own selves to blame for their poor pre-order sales. And I think that they're going to need to do something, either a massive gesture, goodwill, bring back the goodwill to their clientele, or it's just going to be a continuous downhill slope.
I think if this does badly, and then you got to pay attention, if Anthem does badly as well, they really have to change their ways or just shut everything down.
They will go the ways of
Sega,
then.
I don't think they will, because they've got a large mobile base which brings in a huge amount of their money.
Yeah.
So I don't think they'd have a problem. And then they've got FIFA and they've got Madden Ultimate Teams that bring in a huge amount of money. They'll be fine, but they'll shut down anything that we want to see. But eventually that will bleed out as well. Eventually people will stop playing all their games just to shut them down.
Yep, because people have the will of the people. They've done this kind of thing before. People have boycotted. I know, for example, I'm pretty sure there's a TV show people boycotted and it got cancelled because
Roseanne.
of it. I think it was Roseanne, but also I think also House of Cards.
Oh yeah. That was a bit of a shame because they got rid of Kevin Spacey and they had other actors and actresses that could have held that together.
It's not fair for the other actors, but you can understand why they have to do it.
Yeah, I can kind of understand. I'm not sure if it's a nuclear option, which I don't ever like, but I can kind of see, especially in this case, because it's not somebody said something stupid. It's they're attacking their own client base, so the customers won't buy it, so then they die. It's not a deliberate shutting down. So even in this case, I would have no problem with it.
Yeah.
If you're not producing anybody wants to buy, then they don't buy it, and then you shut down. So, but that's that really. So yeah, that's all the news that we've got for today.
I think it was very good news. Well done finding those stories.
Thank you. So we tackled sexism and transphobia. And the social justice warriors will now be coming for us.
Oh, they'll be coming for you. They might just leave me alone.
Oh, they might, yeah. Yeah, considering I do most of the talking because I'm the chair, it will seem like I've basically directed you towards saying what you're going to say. I mean, I haven't.
He does. He tells me everything I need to say. He's got a little electric collar on me, and every time I disagree with him, he just gives me a little shock. But if I complain about it, he'll do it twice as hard next time.
Why is this button not working? I
finally disabled it.
All of your opinions are your own. They're not mine in disguise. We just happen to agree on quite a bit. But I don't like it when people get offended and think that they then have a right to stop everybody around them doing whatever they're doing, because you don't. Offence is subjective. I shouldn't be punished for it legally, and people should be a little bit more. Just have a little bit of compassion. Just understand. Just patience, understanding. You know.
Mm. Unless you're throwing out hate speech, then I agree with that.
Well, take example from the women we just spoke about in the wars. They just knuckled down and got on with the job and gained respect. They didn't go shouting at each other.
And then after the war, most of that respect was taken back again.
No, it wasn't, because they ended up making huge steps forward.
I know, but
the point I'm trying to make is that when, say, the First World War, women gained the vote by working in the factories during the war, right?
Yeah.
And they just did their part, and they showed that they can do it. They convinced everyone. They didn't refuse to work until they were given the vote. They saw an opportunity and educated the people around them.
Yeah.
They didn't all shoot ultimatums and bully them. There's a lesson there, I think.
Yeah.
But, you know.
There was a good episode of Horrible Histories where they talked about that. There was even a song.
But that's for another day.
It's actually a very good show. I learned more from that show than I ever did from history class.
Can we agree that that's for another day and that day is in the past, therefore we never have to actually approach it?
No, we don't have to agree on that. And I've disabled the shock collar, so...
Just as a disclaimer, there is no shock collar, okay? I do not control what she says.
Oh, it's on.
Her bad opinions are her own. Right. So that's everything that we've got today. That's all the news, and I'm really looking forward to getting some capture to show you people at home. Hi, Mum. What I'm going to be doing on the Halo custom games. I'm really excited about that. What are you going to be doing this week? Are you going to try and go back to GTA 3?
I will try.
Shake hand to seal it. That's a manly handshake. You're assuming my... Ow! You're assuming my hand to take it. Right.
That's for all the really sore high fives you've given me over the last 2.5 years.
That's not a lot. That's like 3.
Exactly.
How much pain were you in?
Quite a lot.
So that's... We've righted some wrongs. We've fought some wars. And we've decided that Twitter needs to go away. So that's everything that we have for today. We hope that you've enjoyed this, and even if you haven't, we hope that you stick around and talk to us, leave some comments below so we can have some conversations. It's the only way to make anything better. You can like and subscribe below for more videos. Please do.
And if you find a secret message, you'll win the shock collar.
There's no secret message, there's no shock collar, disclaimer, warranty. You can follow us on Facebook at overshadow.shadowcast, and you can email us at overshadow.shadowcast@gmail.com.
All the links will be in the description down below.
Yep. And other than that, all we've got left to say is thank you.
Thank you.
To each other.
And thank you to all of you as well for listening. All
Whether
25
you
of
be
you.
in the near future or the very far future or the far-flung future.
And if you are from the far-flung future, you'll see where we started and how much better we got over time. There will actually be us talking on screen instead of just through your ears.
Well, no, I'm talking about far-flung like 1 billion years in the future, and I'm thinking that the world will probably be a worse place because if the social justice warriors are the ones who make all the changes, we're going to end up with a lot of people in prison for telling bad jokes. So I'm in prison. So I'm not out here actually making the world a better place.
A billion. By that.
Yes, okay. You can't understand the number 1 billion.
I went to school. I know what 1 billion is. Come over here and let me slap it into your face for you.
How long would it take to slap someone 1 billion times?
I've got nothing else to do today.
Yes, you do. You've got to go and see other people. Right. Thank you for listening. Ta-ra.
Yes, thank you very much. Bye bye.